Okay, let's try this one more time. Why why do I hear myself talk? What's up with that? I don't know. I'm gonna tune that out. Anyways, hello and welcome to Honey Pop, to our Honey Pop Roblox roleplay walkthrough, part 76 out of 14. Um, nah, but like in all seriousness though, this is a pre-recorded video that I'm speaking over. I was gonna release the next part of Hollow Knight, but round 3 of the Coliseum made me contemplate violent suicide. So we're gonna postpone that for now. And I wanted to kind of derail a little bit and do like a Minecraft video. But more than just like a Minecraft video, I also like it's just a pretense. I wanted to yap about I have a lot to yap about regarding Minecraft, but I think the place that I want to start off with for now is probably just the whole addition of copper and like what that means for the game, because it's copper has been like a very like long-term heated debate. Maybe not that heated, but it's been like a very long-term debate. Like literally since like the inception of Minecraft, people have been like, where's copper? Because it's like there was the copper age in real life, so like why wouldn't there be like a copper era like age in Minecraft? You go from stone to copper then to iron. That kind of follows real life. I don't know what the logic was, but ever since like the fucking dawn of modding history in Minecraft, like when the Minecraft mods were really blowing up, there's always been, and I mean always, there's always been like the copper mods. And nowadays in recent times, people put a lot more thought into like how we design mods and like what we put into them and how much we should take out from them when regarding like like if whether or not they should be in Minecraft or not, which is fair, because a lot of mods are just like whatever, not really that deep to be putting in Minecraft for real. Even if people say they are, they really don't tend to be or need to be. But copper still like snuck its way into the conversation of like things that we should have in Minecraft. And I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely on the side, like literally since forever. I've never really cared for copper as an idea in Minecraft, and to me it was like, well, why would we even need copper? Why would we need that? There's no reason for that, because we already have iron, and iron kind of is the early game like material, especially back in like the earlier updates. You could get iron, and I vividly remember like booting up a world, getting iron within like the first like 30 minutes. It was never that deep getting iron. But with the introduction of like the caves and cliffs, I will say, and I have noticed that I do think getting iron is just a little bit harder. Now, clearly, it's probably just me. I'm a relatively casual Minecraft player. I come back like a couple times a year max. I don't know. I don't know how we divide like what makes a hardcore and a fucking casual Minecraft player, but clearly I'm not that fucking crazy, because I'm not gonna lie. I have like struggled to get into that copper stage, or not copper, but the iron stage. And I don't know if they did that on purpose. Like with this new update, if they made iron harder to get. But regardless, ever since the introduction of copper, it's been pretty abundant. And that's kind of like tragic, because like what fucking use does it have to be so fucking abundant? It was pretty good as a building material though, which I didn't really mind. That's fine. It's Minecraft is technically a building game. It's a sandbox game, so like for it to have any other features would kind of be like secondary in a weird way. So what with the introduction of copper and like how abundant it is, I'm not gonna lie, like that's kind of what I have this video for. I just wanted to show off like kind of how it fit into my progression. Cause I literally like when they added copper into the game like a couple weeks ago, I was like, well, fuck it, I might as well boot it up and see how it all works. Cause the fact that they added it, I don't hate Mojang so much that I kind of like dismiss any idea that they bring into the game. They don't always cook in my eyes, and they don't always cook in anybody's eyes. But I wasn't really a big fan of like the creaking. I don't really know anything about that. But either way, right? I wanted to like give them the benefit of the doubt and kind of like boot up a world. And I booted up a couple worlds actually. I actually intended to do like a fucking hardcore playthrough, but first of all, I don't have clout. Maybe I should have done hardcore to get clout, but I did I booted up a hardcore world and I got fucking taken out within like the first couple days by a skeleton when I was right next to some diamond before I had even gone full iron. So we're gonna put a pause on the hardcore idea. If anybody's watching this and you'd like to see hardcore, I'm not opposed to it at all. Maybe down the line. I literally just wanted to do like a casual, like vanilla Minecraft playthrough because I haven't done that in like a while, like a year, probably almost 2 by now. So I wanted to get into like how copper kind of fit into that. I wanted to see how it would work, and I booted up a couple worlds, and I noticed like maybe I was just having bad luck, or maybe I just fucking suck. I don't know, but I had noticed like I was having a little bit of trouble finding iron. Now again, maybe this was intentional. Maybe that was something they just now did to like kind of like give copper a purpose. But copper was so abundant anyways, and that's kind of what I'm getting into. Copper is so like brutally abundant and in your face that you might as well, like when you're booting up a world, you kind of have to be at like a certain level of spiteful to avoid copper, you know? Like it is objectively useful in my eyes. Well, that's kind of like oxymoronic, but it's objectively useful. It's in your face. It's so fucking abundant. It's really not like bad defense at all, right? And it's like no matter what, iron is gonna take you at least like a couple dozen minutes to get, as compared to like copper. Copper is, you can literally get that in the first 5 minutes. Even back in the old updates, I noticed that iron you can get a full iron set within like the first 30 minutes of a game, right? Copper is that to the extreme, because you can literally get, and you can kind of see it in the video too a little bit. You can literally get like a full set of copper armor and tools within like the first fucking 5 minutes. You know, I don't really mind that. I don't understand what the problem with copper is. So again, everyone was like, well, what purpose will copper really have when iron is so like easy to get? But like I'm saying, I don't think iron is that easy to get. And not only is it not that, I mean, it's easy to get, but copper is so much like easier to get to such an extent to where you might as well just fucking get copper. Like look at me struggling right here, fucking fighting for my life, you know? Like this is just me trying to get iron, you know? Maybe I suck, I don't know. But like this is my experience trying to get iron. And maybe this is like a really shitty world. No, admittedly it kind of is a bit of a shitty world. I just thought it looked kind of nice, so I kept it, and I didn't want to scroll through and keep spawning in fucking shitty ass savannas, which I literally did anyways. But anyways, but like in a situation like this, I'm like, you know what, let me get some copper armor, because like why the fuck wouldn't I, you know? Yeah, and I was one of those people who was like, you know, copper is not like realistically or practically gonna have like that much use. But here I am, I'm like, alright, let me get some fucking like copper tools and armor, you know? They're really not that slow. Again, and it's like I see the use like developing in front of my face. I see it. I don't really feel the need to like super bum rush towards iron. I don't know if this is like a way that like people play anymore. But I'm not necessarily so engrossed with the idea of like bum rushing Minecraft progression. People complain about Minecraft progression a lot, which is something that I kind of have like a bit of a nuanced take on, I guess. And like this whole copper discussion is me kind of, God, I've already been yapping for 10 minutes. That's crazy. But then this whole copper thing is like me getting into the discussion. I'm yapping and getting my way into like how I really feel about Minecraft progression, because I have a lot of opinions on Minecraft, I'm realizing, but I've never like bothered to express them in a format like this, and I want to. It's just that I'm not really good at making scripted content. This is me yapping. This is me sitting in front of a camera, not a camera, but a mic. I don't even know if it's picking up my audio. So if it doesn't work, then if it didn't pick up my audio, this video is just not gonna be produced at all. But anyways, so like I was saying, this is kind of my like introduction into that discussion about my dozens and dozens of minutes of takes I have on Minecraft apparently. And we're gonna start like bit by bit kind of breaking down like Minecraft progression. if that makes sense. But yeah, like I don't necessarily follow the flow of like the wave of opinions that everyone seems to like pick up and regurgitate regarding Minecraft. Everyone's so like quick to dog on Minecraft, and like that's not the worst thing. It's not that deep, but I think it's just kind of like I love you think it's kind of dick riding, and maybe I'm the dick rider for even trying to defend. But I want to like I've I've never had that much animosity towards Minecraft. I feel like the whole like mob vote thing kind of brought up like so much like hated contesting of ideas and thoughts and opinions regarding Minecraft. So that's kind of why I'm making this video to like express myself. This is kind of like an anti-video essay. This is not a scripted thing. This is me yapping and just blurting out how I really feel. Cause I don't. It's not that deep, right? But like I was saying, I'm not really enticed by the idea of like rushing through Minecraft. And because of that, I don't necessarily find anything wrong with the progression of Minecraft. And what I mean by that is I genuinely think that a lot of the like supposed and so-called problems that people have with the progression of Minecraft, I feel, and what I like kind of want to prove with this playthrough, as I just do it casually, like how I play normally, is kind of contest this whole rhetoric of like people seem to spew out of the progression being so flawed. I hear it uttered out so frequently, and I'm not really under the impression that that's really what the majority of the fan base thinks, because, you know, first of all, this is the highest selling video game of all time. So clearly at a casual level, everyone's enjoying this, and really the only people like complaining are like the super duper hardcores. But here I am, I'm making Minecraft content now. I've been playing Minecraft. I know I said I play casually, but no, I do play this shit like relatively consistently. I'll come back on it at least a couple times a year, every couple of months. I mean that might not be hardcore, but it's certainly not casual either. I'm not coming back every like once a year, literally, you know. But I have a genuine appreciation for like the progression of this game, in the sense of like taking it slow, you know. I think I've noticed this pattern that a lot of people kind of pick up on, where they, especially back then, and I think this has kind of died down now, and it will continue to die down with the like, addition of copper, is people kind of like boot up Minecraft, get the bare necessities of survival in terms of hunger, you know, and get a bed, you know, and then they'll just like rush into the cave and just spend their time there, and they'll just walk out with like full iron set. That's fine. I'm not hating on that, because like you're obviously fucking allowed to play however you want, but it's like that's not really how I play, and I think that's not how like a lot of people play either. And I wanted to put that out there because I feel there's kind of like an echo chamber within like the Minecraft community, like online. So everyone seems to think that we're in some kind of like universal agreement on like how things are, and like there's some kind of objectivity to like the Minecraft playstyle and how Minecraft should have to adjust to the complaints and the woes and the whims of what is, you know, what I'm kind of like slightly unfortunate to say is like a vocal minority of the player base, you know, like, you know, the whole like mob vote thing with so many players like bitching and complaining, and not for the wrong reasons, honestly. Like that was a whole nuance. That was a whole thing. I'm not gonna like hate on people complaining about that. I was hating on that too to an extent. But again, like there's so much like rhetoric regarding like how like mid or bad Minecraft is. Now, mind you, this is like one of my top 10s, and I play this shit pretty consistently. And I'm not gonna dick ride and act like it's fucking flawless, but I feel like a lot of the complaints, damn, I hope I don't sound like I'm bouncing around what I really feel. I'm just trying to like break down, because this is pure yap. But no, I just feel like there's such an echo chamber of belief in the fan base, where people think that like, hey, this is what we think as a collective, and Mojang is being lazy by not listening to like all 1 million of us, you know. And it's like, yeah, 1 million is a pretty big number, but you gotta consider that this game like has like tens, I think maybe even like hundreds of millions of players, you know. I could look it up right now, I don't know. But no, like for real though, you know, even all of like the millions, I think millions of people complaining about shit only to an objective extent represent like a minority population of the players. And I don't think people realize when they talk about like how Mojang is like lazy or unmotivated or they just don't really care. I don't think they're understanding that the changes that fans are demanding and they are thinking that it's such a like universal standard of like demand is only like a representation of what is actually a small portion of the player base. You know, what people think is like hey, why isn't Mojang adding this when we all clearly want it? Dude, there's people who to this day still think that Minecraft is changed too much. Now I'm not gonna entertain those people either, because you know, if you think Minecraft's changed too much, then chances are you literally just haven't been keeping up with it like a lot, like at all, you know. And to that extent, it's not Mojang's job to like hold themselves back on developing the game for that minority of players either. But it is, I do think there's like a median to be maintained in terms of like the updates that come out and the progression and the development of this game. Like they can't, and this is kind of me getting into like a whole other discussion. So I might try and pull it back into the whole copper thing, but I think the copper thing itself was just a segue into some of my other thoughts. This recording is only like 41 minutes. I don't want this thing to be 41 minutes. I barely even want it to be 20. I'm gonna cut it down a lot and try and like pace my thoughts right. So if anything, is this recording has been going on for like 18. I've been yapping for 18 minutes now. There's no fucking way, right? No fucking way. I don't know. I'll have to see. I should probably stop this right now and see. But so if anything, I kind of want to turn this into like a series where I progress through Minecraft in the vanilla, like, you know, play through and the place, kind of show off my playstyle, and I kind of contrast that to like a lot of the playstyles and thoughts and opinions of other other players, especially like I don't even know what to call it, like a more fast-paced like sense of progression in player base. Because again, like there's a lot of players who like literally live by this shit, die by this shit. They will speedrun this game without fail. Fucking iron in the first 30 minutes, never within the first hour, you know what I'm saying, bro? Fucking diamond by the second hour, Ender Dragon dead by like the third, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like it's kind of extreme, you know. And I think it's that like mindset and playstyle that's kind of detrimental to like what Minecraft is, bro. Because Minecraft is a vibe, man. You can turn Minecraft into a hardcore experience, but ultimately, bro, Minecraft is a vibe, and I don't really think they're obligated to like. Even though Minecraft lends itself really well to more adventure and like RPG elements, and even though I myself want to see more like adventure and RPG elements, I'm not in such a rush where like I think that they're like fucking us over for not like bending over and doing that shit like immediately, you know. I think mods have kind of spoiled us because, you know, mod developers, that shit isn't permanent. So whatever they add, they don't really have to put in that much consideration to like the fucking, again, like the hundreds of millions of people that play this game, and like of all ages and of any audience, you know, like there's grown ass men and women playing this shit, there's little kids playing this shit. So like they have to maintain a balance. They can't change this shit too drastically, and they can't keep it the same either, because obviously we all know that the updates are kind of what keeps Minecraft relevant, which is fine because they've been doing this shit since the beginning. So it's not like they are like, it's not like we're switching up to like try and keep an agenda going or something. I don't know, but but yeah, I think mods have spoiled us, man. Like, because we can remove and take out and edit and develop and to like our own personal preferences and playstyle. And I think people have kind of gotten caught up in that idea, where we get caught up in like our own little internet bubbles and internet circles, where it's like bro, we all clearly want this. This is some people want clearly, and it's like, why don't they add it? But like we don't really know. I think some people might cite how like abundantly downloaded some mods are, which first of all, I don't know how CurseForge works, so I want that to be credited with a grain of salt if anybody is to. because there's a lot of mods that have like hundreds of millions of downloads, but I guarantee you a lot of those downloads are like repeat downloads. I've definitely downloaded the same mods a couple dozen times across a couple dozen mod packs, so I don't know if that's like the most accurate standard of what or representation of what the fan base really wants to that extent, you know what I'm saying? But that's a big thing that I'm getting at, is how kind of like a relatively small, not small really by any means, but by a relatively small portion and population of the player base has kind of like dominated online rhetoric, and how there's kind of been like this agenda being maintained, because people who like enjoy Minecraft at a casual level and who have no problems with Minecraft probably aren't the kind of people who like occupy and sometimes even invade internet spaces to like spout what they think. People who enjoy Minecraft probably aren't getting on Minecraft to talk about how much they enjoy Minecraft in the same way that like somebody who is like really upset or like bothered by Minecraft is getting on the internet to complain about Minecraft. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? People who are a little more positive usually aren't on the internet as abundantly and frequently as people who are a little more negative. And I know that might sound a little reductive, but I think that's kind of true at like a universal level when it comes to the internet. And it's kind of a dodgy, tricky thing, because you don't want to be called a dick rider for being positive about something, and you know, even worse than that, you don't want them to be right, because you know, there's that dick riding is definitely a thing. You know what I mean? Like dick riding is definitely a thing. People can kind of like defend something blindly to the death and like act like it has no fucking flaw. And I'm not gonna say that about Minecraft, bro. Of course Minecraft has flaw, but I think, well, first of all, I'm gonna fight the agenda, bro. I'm gonna fight the fucking woke Minecraft agenda, bro. It's not that bad. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like I do want to put this out there as like something of a slightly alternative take. Like if you stumble upon this is my attempt at like an anti-Minecraft essay. I have a lot of opinions regarding like video essays in general, but and this was such an unguided like attempt at discourse. So I'm sorry if this is so hard to follow. Oh shit, I hit my mic. But I'm probably gonna wrap this up around here, at least this little yap session. I'm gonna chop this video down a little bit to kind of cut out the filler. And you can kind of see how like now we're getting back into the important stuff. You can kind of see how like I'm taking my time when I'm playing this game. I got my copper. I'm not really rushing towards like iron already, because I'd rather build a house first, because that's fun. It's fun to build in Minecraft, even though I'm not the best builder by any means. It's fun to try. And that kind of like, I don't know, I think a lot of Minecraft is better when you're more willing to enjoy the things that technically aren't optimal. That's a whole other fucking yap sesh I could get into about is how like hyper optimization of like gaming is kind of killing like a basic level of enjoyment. I don't know how deeply I want to get into that, because I think this is already going on for like 25 minutes now. So I should really break it up so a casual like observer will want to like actually listen to this shit in once. I mean, if you're stumbling onto this, I'm gonna assume that you're like, what's the word? Putting it on in the background. But and peeking every now and then. So maybe I should keep going. I don't know. But fuck, what I was talking about. Damn, I don't do scripted content, man. I'm in my flow state. I'm just yapping, and I know it's gonna be hard to follow. And in that sense, that's why I kind of chose to kind of make this as like a playthrough, because I'm gonna be yapping a lot anyways. This is not like this is not a well edited, highly scripted like video essay, which I've already said. My fault if I'm repeating myself. I'm trying to get myself back on track. But again, regarding this whole concept of like hyper optimization of gaming and how that kind of kills the like some level of enjoyment is like I guess I don't know how to kind of word this because I understand in a way what people are talking about, but just the idea of like, oh well, if it's pointless or if there's something better, then you might as well not interact with it at all. And it's like, okay, that's, I guess if you don't care to interact with it, but does to that extent does that really represent like a general fan base and what they think? And we have to be careful with this because like chances are probably not, you know what I mean? Like, but sometimes yeah. And a big thing with that is horses. Horses, I'm not gonna lie, kind of fucking suck, which sucks because they're fun to play with, you know, when they're like actually somewhat kind of a little bit working. And I think they're gonna actually update horses soon too, which is gonna be a really big deal because even giving horses the ability to like just slightly swim in shallow water is a fucking lifesaver. But nah, man, like I think horses are kind of a decent example of what I mean regarding like optimization because in the name of saving time, people will like completely skip or forego aspects of progression just to skip to like the better things, you know? And I think that's a little weird because you're at that point you're just playing the game to beat it, and I don't know if that sounds dumb to say, but when it comes to a game that isn't even like a story or a campaign game by any means, it's a fucking sandbox game. It is a little weird because to me it's as you continue to like strip away the features and functionality of a game down to its bare core essentials. It's like at that point, how willing are you anyways to like even interact or play with the game if you kind of just go over or completely glaze over the other features that it has to offer. Now, horses are kind of a bad example because I relent that horses fucking suck. It's to the extent where they're kind of not fun to use. They're fun in concept, and they were fun when you were a kid, somewhat sometimes, until you realize that they just fucking sucked ass. That's fine. But let's talk about like bundles. You know, I've unironically well, you know, let's go back to the horses. Like the horses became an unfortunate victim of this whole discussion of optimization because everyone is kind of under this mindset of like, well, what's the point of interacting with horses if I can just get elytras? Which is funny because getting elytras requires you beating the fucking game. So like, this is perfect because it perfectly highlights just the kind of mindset that like a lot of players have when it comes to this game. And I'm not criticizing that mindset, but I'm more so pointing out how like we're letting people who play the game like this dominate discussion and kind of like generate and utter like a frequently uttered rhetoric that I feel like is so reductive to the experience and like not really by any means an actual representation of like the fan base as a whole. That might have just sounded like a fucking word salad. I don't know. So let me dial it back and get back into what I mean by that. And it's just like there is so much potential content. There's so much potential content that you're missing in between the stage where you would get a horse and the stage where you get a fucking elytra. Elytra is literally a post-game item, but you will literally hear people talk about like, oh yeah, I'll just get elytra fucking horse, like it's like a casual mid-game item, because it might as well be, it can be, you know, because again, you have that freedom, you have that option to like forego all the pretenses and just go straight to like the end game shit, you know. But it gets to this point where it's like, what am I even adventuring for at that point? Like, what am I even playing for if I'm planning right from the jump to skip all the like early to mid game content and just go straight to the end game content, just for the sake of optimization. Now, if you prefer to do that because you just genuinely, on like a general level, don't find the majority of Minecraft that fun, then I can't argue with that, because how could I, right? But to that extent, it's like, should we really let that kind of voice and rhetoric dominate discussion, and like try and pass itself off as like what we all really think, you know? Because it just got obnoxious, and this is what I'm trying to get into, is that like, just like how we entered into such an echo chamber regarding that, like what we really want out of this game, to where people were genuinely baffled at the idea of Minecraft not like listening to quote unquote us. Like, oh yeah, we clearly all want this. Why isn't Minecraft? This is what I'm getting back into. Why isn't Mojang bending to our every whim and whimsy and demand, when clearly we all want this? But it's like, a lot of players don't realize that it's not that we don't all want this, you know, or that more so that we're not necessarily as critical, or putting them as under this selective pressure to evolve, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm yapping. This might be a word salad. I don't know, but it's just so crazy. Like, if you, what I'm really getting into is that at that point, do you really even enjoy this game? And at that point, if you don't really enjoy this game, like, what, like, it seems kind of weird to be at such a level of detailed discussion to a game that you very clearly and willingly and admittedly demonstrate that you don't really even seem to enjoy at like a basic and casual level, I guess. And I think this is like a thing with most fan base. This is not exclusive to Minecraft by any means. I think it's something that more people are putting out in general, is that like it's in no way an obligate of any game developer to appeal solely to like an extremely hardcore, more obsessive portion of its fan base. I think Marvel Rivals had that thing too happen recently. But I don't play that game, so I don't know. So if anybody wants to bring that up, I would actually love to hear what's going on with the whole Marvel Rivals fandom. Because from what I'd heard, the hardcore fan base, it was kind of like, it's kind of angry because the developers won't appeal to them, and they're appealing to a more casual audience. And to be fair, that's a pretty interesting discussion by its own right. I'm not gonna push that. I'm not gonna push any agenda one way or the other. But I wanted to get my input on that to that extent. And I'm not gonna lie, maybe I am just a little butthurt. I'm a little, you know what I'm saying? I'm a little iffy. I'm a little aggravated because I keep getting back to this word, so maybe I should try and get into it in a little more detail. It's an echo chamber, you know? It's an echo chamber. It's people. And what kind of gets to me is that it doesn't really feel like a sincere expression of opinion and thought when there are such frequently uttered, and this is gonna sound stupid, I don't know. When there's such like frequently uttered specific rhetoric to where you can tell that like, is this really what people, or is this really even what you're thinking, or is this just like baby's first video essay and you want to like express that, you know? Like you can, when you like scroll through comment sections on like TikTok or Twitter, you can really tell who gets their opinions off of like the latest video essay that they watched. Like I'm not so offended at like the idea of challenging a status quo. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an asshole, but I think that it's more so just the fact that it seems kind of like insincere at a basic level, because how a lot of it just feels like such like regurgitated. It's just so like regurgitated. Like you hear it and you spit it back out, and you don't really consider like what that really means or like what's really going into it. And this is like a big deal to me. When you hear like a certain argument enough, you kind of begin to hear like the flaws in it, if that makes sense. And then when you hear it be uttered anyways, like so abundantly, you can kind of tell that people are like, they hit it and they're running with it. And this is like a this is a whole other like discussion thing for me. And this is kind of my problem with like video essays. At like a very basic level. This is really and I hope I don't sound targeted when I say any of this stuff, because I'm really not. I'm not talking about anyone in specific. But I will say, I think all of those like Minecraft video essays about like how it's not the same anymore, or it's fucking, oh, it fell off. They're a little corny. And I think what made it even worse is like the flock of like teenage boys who like just discovered what it means to have like a well thought out opinion, who like flock to these videos and then absorb it into themselves as their own opinions. You know what I mean? And this is where the art of the quotation begins to matter. Okay, because like when you're like reading and writing essays, even in like the high school level, they literally tell you in school like, hey, don't ever, they literally tell you in your own words explain like this or that, because when you put it in your own words, when you can deconstruct and then reconstruct a thought or take an or opinion that expresses a genuine level of understanding, that means that you took something apart and put it back together and thought about it at a critical level, even something that was itself a critique. And I don't really have much beef with what I'm talking about or saying, because at the end of the day, I'm literally talking about what tends to more than often not just be like teenage boys. So I don't really have any beef, and at the end of the day, I'm happy. I'm more happy than anything that like teenage boys are getting on the internet and expressing thought. But to that extent, I just kind of wanted to offer like a rebuttal and an expansion of that. Maybe I'm getting off topic. I can't tell. Damn, like I got a problem with that shit, man. But when I was first, cause I think it's very common, not even just for teenage boys, but anybody to kind of have like a video essay phase on the internet when they're young. At least that's definitely like a niche internet subculture, like the whole discovery of the video essay. But even as a kid, I was pretty opinionated, and I was at the general level like a little well read, not to like be a dickhead, but I think that kind of I never really like absorbed video essays at face value as like the take, you know what I mean? I would find myself disagreeing or agreeing consistently, or even when I agreed, it wouldn't necessarily change my opinion or the way I felt about a piece. But I think like I don't think everybody's like that, you know? So I think when a lot of, especially, no, let me not say that, 'cause I don't know, maybe it's not like a boy or girl thing. But when you're like young and you discover like the idea of like a well formulated opinion, it's very quick to like take that as face value, as like the take, or as adjacent to fact. And then that rhetoric that gets uttered, and like, okay, no, I literally have to fucking end this, because wow, yeah, okay, you know what, let me stop. The next video is gonna be about video essays, I guess, because I'm clearly like dancing around it, and I can't keep doing that. So to anybody who like to listen to this or watch this, thank you for sitting through this betrayal to the human ear. Thank you for hearing me, listening to me yap for fucking minutes straight with no focus at all. I don't know, maybe I'll do a script next time, but I do plan on making a part 2 if anybody enjoys this at all.